Hello everybody, Ali here. Welcome back to my channel. On one of my last videos about my 2025 year, that was a bit of a crazy year. All right, lots of highs, lots and lots of lows. They made a comment. It was kind of the perfect example of why we still need sex education today. Now, I'm not usually one to, clap back at people in the comments, but sometimes I like to take them as an example and sort of make fun of them, because sometimes the comments people leave are just so ridiculous. I don't even know why people waste their time doing stuff like that. It's like, what else are you doing in life? Do you have one? Anyways, let me read it to you, okay? Oh, sweet Jesus. The woman claims to be a self-styled expert in sex and relationships, and she only finally realizes in her 40s that women need to have an emotional connection to any man that they get involved with. A small percentage of women who don't need that are called prostitutes. And they are severely emotionally damaged people who do it for money. The average, reasonably normal woman needs to have an emotional connection. Even teenage girls know this! Exclamation point. How does a sex and relationship expert not know? LOL. Many modern women want to believe that they can screw around without impunity just as men always have, and that it won't adversely affect them emotionally, but spoiler alert, it does. And this is why men don't want to get into serious relationships with women who screw around. The double standard exists for a reason, and she just discovered why. ... First of all, sir, you typed that with your whole chest, didn't you? And then promptly deleted it. Yes, he deleted it. I've been trying to look for that comment, but it no longer exists, but I'm happy I took a screenshot of it. But he inadvertently touched on 4 huge topics that we're gonna unpack, all right? My own evolution from casual sex to emotional depth, how our fantasies actually change as we age, because yes, they do. And if you're sitting there saying, no, that ain't true, I don't believe you. What the science actually says, and why that sex worker comment needs to be lovingly thrown into the trash. All right, let's start with my confessional, casual sex versus connection. Now, I'm not speaking from a moral podium, okay? I'm speaking from experience. There have been phases in my life where casual sex absolutely worked for me. I didn't need a 3-month courtship. I didn't need to be in love. I just needed chemistry, curiosity, and safety. And sex was about exploration and novelty and the simple joy of being desired by someone. And it didn't break me. It didn't damage my soul. And a few years ago, I even made a video about the benefits of casual sex. Okay, you can go check that one out. And I was talking about how I can have casual sex. I don't need to have an emotional attachment. I need to have some kind of emotional connection. But by that, I don't mean I'm in love with the person, but I need a vibe, I need to feel safe. I need to connect with this person on a certain level, but I didn't need to be in love or have a full-blown relationship or anything. But as I've evolved, I found that at this stage in my life, with experience and time, sex without emotional connection can feel quite empty. And sometimes my body's there, but my heart just can't keep up. Now, this is not a moral awakening. It's called developmental growth. And our nervous system changes and our attachment needs shift. Now, sometimes your body just decides, I want presence, not just friction. Now, that doesn't make my past wrong. It just means I'm a human who evolves just like you. All right, let's get into the second part. Normal women need emotional connection. Women who don't are prostitutes or emotionally damaged. Deep breath here. First, sex workers are people doing work. Some are deeply fulfilled and some are not, just like teachers, surgeons, engineers, and accountants. Stigmatizing them is lazy and just ignores their agency and autonomy. Second, it's not pure angels versus broken women. Research shows that some women love casual sex. Some men need emotional connection, and most of us fluctuate throughout our lives. Humans are not binary, we are a spectrum. Now, when we start looking into the science, okay, so this idea that all women eventually realize they only want emotional connection is a myth. So research in Fantasy and Desire by Justin Lemiller found the data actually shows that as women age, we don't become more dependent on emotional connection. We become more adventurous. Middle-aged women have the highest rates of fantasies involving novelty, multi-partnered sex, and non-monogamy. Why? Because we finally have the sexual self-confidence to stop caring what people like you my friend, think. We trade the safety of romantic scripts for the freedom of erotic exploration. Now, Lemiller's research also showed that emotional connection isn't unique to a woman requirement. It's actually one of the most common themes in everyone's fantasies, including men's. So people crave connection. That's just human. But where you're getting it wrong is thinking that connection is a prerequisite for desire, or that it looks the same for every person. The truth is, desire isn't a bucket that we all fall into. It's a spectrum. So different people unlock different parts of us. Sometimes you aren't craving sex in the abstract, you're craving the specific chemistry of a particular person and the way that they make you feel. So for some, that feeling is emotional safety. For others, it's raw, adventurous novelty. Now, as an educator, he said I claim to be an expert, but I always say in my videos that I try to share from a place of experience and not expertise, because like you, I am a lifelong student. I am constantly learning about myself. I guess you could call me an educator because I come on here and I try to educate you based on what I am learning in the moment. So yeah, my job is to tell people that they're allowed to experience both, not to tell them that they're doing it wrong because they don't fit into some kind of, 1950s gender stereotype. And younger me. So let's be real about the whole teenager comparison. I didn't know what the hell I wanted when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, hell, even 20, 21, 22. The emotional depth I had as a teen was a drop in the bucket compared to what I have now. Back then, connection was just often a code word for safety. And research, again, by Justin Lemiller, I don't have his book with me, but he wrote a book called Tell Me What You Want, which is based on his fantasy and desire research. It's one of the biggest surveys done in America on this topic. I highly recommend that you check it out. He suggests that younger people lean into romance and emotional connection because they are navigating massive sexual anxiety. The romance, or the deep, loving emotional connection, makes the unknown feel less scary. So it's more like a shield. But as an adult, I don't need a shield anymore. I have the emotional depth to know that respect is a baseline, but deep emotional connection is not necessarily a requirement for every erotic experience. So as the data shows, as we get older, many of us swap the craving for safety for a craving for new experiences. So my desire hasn't faded, it's evolved. It's matured from a need for comfort to a drive for discovery. Please remember, your brain is constantly being updated as you get hurt, as you fall in love, as you heal, as you explore. You become tired of some patterns, you become hungry for others. We don't wake up at 40 and discover the truth. We just arrive somewhere new. So in that video, when I was talking about needing an emotional connection, there was a specific type of emotional depth and connection that I was looking for at that time. Ask me in a month, ask me next year what I'm looking for. Like, I am traveling soon. I'll be traveling a little bit without my partner, getting back on the road. And again, we are in a monogamish type open relationship. So you betcha, if I'm in the mood, I'll be looking for some casual sex along the way. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on my mood. It depends how I'm feeling about myself. We'll see. The point is, you are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to change the way that you think. You are allowed to change what you want, depending on where you are. All right, let's move into the double standard. Yes, the double standard does exist, but it's not encoded in our DNA. It's encoded in patriarchy and the purity culture. Men are praised for experience. Women are policed for it. I mean, look, I am a woman. I talk about sex on the internet. Although I have a great fan base of supporters and non-judgmental humans, man, I get shit on a lot. I mean, look, just like people like you. So yeah, a lot of men who claim they don't want promiscuous women have a long history of promiscuity themselves. Let's call it what it is: insecurity, social conditioning, and a classic Madonna horror complex. It's not biology, it's a bias. So when we're talking about casual sex, it isn't harmful because you're a woman or because you are damaged. It feels bad when you self-abandon, when you pretend you don't want a connection because you want to be liked, or when there's a lack of mutual respect and you don't respect your boundaries. But it can feel absolutely great when you're clear, safe, there's mutual desire, and you're not using it to fill a wound. See how that works? It's about context and not morality. When you ask me where I'm at today, Like I said, it depends on the day. Sometimes I want sex because it's hot, I want to release, and I'm turned on by whatever is in front of me. Other times I crave relational chemistry with a certain person, often my partner, slowness, trust, and a nervous system that can relax rather than perform. This doesn't mean my past self was broken. It means this is where my body and my heart are today. Desire is not linear. To the commenter, you're right that sex affects us emotionally, but you're wrong about why. Women aren't fragile, sex workers aren't broken, men also crave emotional connection, and I'm not late to the party. I'm just growing up publicly on the internet, which, trust me, is way more embarrassing than anything you've ever written. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm sure a lot of you have a lot to share about this topic, and if you do, please comment in the comments below. And if you want to know where you can hear more about me, get more in touch with me, then check out my Patreon and my YouTube membership. Yeah, I share a lot of travel stuff on there, so you could check that all out in the comments below. But je vous aime, I love you, especially those who are here, who always contribute positively, who are open-minded, judgment-free. And if you are here and you shit on me on a regular basis, I'm giving you a virtual hug. There you go. Je vous aime, bye.